Hello everyone and welcome back to day 24 of this build of whatever the heck I decide to call this. Maybe eventually in a few weeks I'll start thinking of names, but as of right now this is just the build. Anyway, I've finished the HVAC systems. I added a few new details. I added the textures I wanted to, and I found out that finding a texture for a circular vent is a challenge because a lot of them had watermarks, and I don't like watermarks in my stuff, so after spending what's felt like maybe an hour, I finally found one. I got it set up, and let me just tell you, before you judge me, this is as good as I was able to get it. I tried even harder, and it would mess it up. So this is as good as it's going to get. Plus, you won't be able to see it because it's going to be out of the player's view. I just want to show you that it's fully decorated. In the event that somehow someone glitches out, they at least can see the vents. I will say what was it? I can't remember. That's sad. Oh yeah, now I remember. I don't know why I forgot so easily. I did change the size of the HVAC. All I did was shrink it down a little bit. So let's go out there and I'll show you this way. It's a little easier. So this is the new HVAC system. It looks decent. It's got a metallic texture. That's why it's very weird looking. This was usually my go-to metal texture. It's the one I use for the ice cream maker all the way down here. Where is it? That's in the grass. There we are. Yeah, it's the same texture I used for the ice cream machine, as you can see. Eventually, I'm going to get another stretchier metal plate texture that doesn't have the darker side, just for the ice cream machine. But I want to keep the darker sides on here to make it look like there is shadows. It does look weird, I know, but let's just roll with it, because you won't be able to see it without the. I mean, you'll see it in the game, but with the flashlight, it's gonna like blind you. It blind all the shadows anyway. So one thing I did do is I had to delete any of the extra vent things or vent cubes that I made, and I found one that was in a perfect position that I used for the clone. And what I mean by clone is I made one and then cloned it a bunch of times because that's easier. Now what I did for this was I just duplicated it a bunch of times and slightly raised it up to give it the metal covering. That way you don't see the texture. Let's see if I can get it for you guys. Oh yeah, see it's I mean right here it looks it's fine if it's duplicated because it's supposed to be a vent, but there's a duplication right here. If I go to this and I do that, see, I've always had a problem with textures and I don't feel like doing the work to make it one-sided. So what I usually did, at least in college, and it works here, is I just put stuff over it to hide the duplicates. For the circular fan. Again, this was as good as I can get it. I promise you, this is as good as I could get it. It was a small image of maybe like 320 by another small number. So when I enlarged it, this was as good as it was going to get. Otherwise, it'll take off a little bit too much. But then I added this little plating underneath. I know it looks like I clicked the entire thing, but no, I clicked the plating underneath, which is just another cylinder that I stretched out a little bit to look like a metal plating around the fan. So yeah, it looks a lot nicer, and while it is still giant, it's a lot smaller than you think. It's still going to be bigger than you, but I believe the height of the character will be about right here. So yeah, this is most likely how tall you're going to be in the game. So this is what your vision will look like. And here it is in the dark. Not much of a change, but if I do this, add the dark Yeah, see, the darker texture parts of it actually work in this lighting. I'm not gonna lie, especially when you're further away. I think the fans are a little bit too bright because the further away you are, you can still see them. I can just do what I did with the smaller vents, which all I did was copy the brightness of the big cubes for the metallic texture, so that way it looks like they're blended in. But enough about that. Let's go into a quick walkthrough. I'm gonna start working on the that final room up there, and then tomorrow, once the final room is complete, the basic final room, before I do the final adding details to all the floors, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough tomorrow. Or not a quick walkthrough, a simple walkthrough of all the rooms so everyone can see as far as we've come before the final touches are added, and then the city. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, it's a lot shorter than it was yesterday. A lot nicer looking too. And like I said, the flashlight takes away the shadowy area, so you're not really going to notice it. The vents reflect a lot less, and I wanted that on purpose because the texture was very bright, and this looks a lot nicer. Especially when you get close to it, it looks very realistic, like you could actually look inside. And that's the purpose of it. I want it to look realistic because this is a very simplistic looking game at the same time. Like these are realistic because that's what they are. They are, you know, real chain link fence. And these are real vents. So yeah, you walk through the maze, and you end up in this room, and you have to do something. I actually am starting to think a little bit more of doing something like, kind of like a Slenderman type thing, where you have to collect a number of objects while avoiding some creature. Haven't thought of it fully. This weekend, I'm literally gonna put some work into actually thinking of the story, because one thing I really like besides level design is the story for world building, to really give the game a soul, in a sense. So yeah, let's get out of here. There we go. Get out of there. Out of there. Nope. I wanted to turn off the fog and just make it slightly bright. It's about to rain, guys. Anyway, so with that being said, what I'm going to do with the roof section after I add detail to this final room, I'm going to start with the roof and go down on final details of this. I'm going to add a few more obstacles in here that you have to go over, like maybe that's something I actually have to think of. Just more things that you have to move around, like, because this is an open space right here. So if something's chasing you, you could easily avoid them. But what if, and follow me on this one, what if there was a bunch of things in here, like a bunch of boxes or tool boxes or something, that are just scattered everywhere, and you have to maneuver around even more stuff while moving around this maze? That way, you have a lesser chance of survival, but it's still possible, you know? Because when you're making a game, you want to make it possible for the player to win, if you're making it with some challenge. So I think some more objects up here whenever I do the final touches to all the floors would be really nice. Because I can imagine, like, when I was first making this, I imagined like these pipes right here, or these vents, were a lot lower to the ground, a lot smaller, and you'd have to have like a 2x4 you had to walk over, and then you'd have to find another way around. But then I thought, what if a maze would be cooler, because you can't see over these giant AC units or HVAC systems, so you never know what's around the corner. It could be the thing following you, and I like that idea. But with all that finally said and done, that's where we can end it off here today. Thank everyone so much for watching. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. I'm going to be adding more detail to the level pretty soon. And then we can move on to the city and then to the final coding. Then I can add all the rest of the details I need for this game. So until all that stuff happens, hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.